real quick to start this
Yeah.
off, Jeffrey, how did you get into basketball? Because as someone who's lived in St. Louis and whatnot, we've had like maybe just the college teams and whatnot, but you're actually like NBA. You know those teams well enough and have followed the league pretty well.
Yeah, like I watched the league like every playoff game every year, like for a couple years now. But I think what really got me into it was just the whole like Cavaliers Warriors like dynasty feud. Like and for me
Cavaliers
it was in like middle
2016,
school.
right?
Yeah. And like that just
Maybe
kind
it
of
was before
sparked it for
that,
me
yeah.
because every year in the off season you knew what the finals were going to be the next season, which kind of it was weird. It
I
was a weird
kind of hated
time.
it, but I kind of loved it at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the league's kind of missing it now because it's like 8 straight new, like no repeat teams. But that was pushed to like the extreme. Like it just kind of made it horrible to watch. I don't know.
And was that like your main team that
Yeah.
made you get into it and whatnot? Like, are you a Cavaliers fan and whatnot?
Yeah, even still, even without LeBron, that's why the I was rooting for the Cavaliers to be the team that he went just because makes more sense and like was the less ring chase play instead of the 76ers.
He's from Akron, right?
Yeah, or yeah, he was born in Akron, I
What do
think,
you,
and
or Akron? Yeah, he's made it sound like in his Philly tweet, like release that he was a Philadelphia guy. I don't know what I read, but I was like, why is he acting like he has such ties with Philadelphia? I know he's
the
got
only
that weird
thing
bald spot on his head that's like the Liberty Bell.
I saw that.
Have you guys seen that? Have you guys
Yeah.
seen that meme with his? It's like perfectly. I don't even know if it's like Photoshop, but there's like a
I
Liberty
kind of wish it
Bell.
was. I kind of wish it was more of a Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's more of a
The only
uh,
ties I know he would
New
have
Mexico
kind of
thing.
had whenever he announced that he was going to the Lakers, his final 3 teams were to re-sign with Cleveland, LA, and then Philadelphia. But
Right.
That's what he said when he went there.
I think that's what the final 3 teams he was down to when he went to the Lakers 8 years ago.
So he already knew before he even.
I don't know. I mean, the league was a lot different then. Like the Sixers had a much different core. I mean, they still have
Yeah,
Embiid, but
except I mean, I guess screw it. We're already talking about LeBron. Let's go into the LeBron
Yeah,
talk.
I figured it would just transition into it either way.
Yeah, because I don't understand why he's going to Philly. Why is he going to
I,
Philly? Joel Embiid is nothing to like be excited about. Like he's an athlete, but
he's great whenever he is on the court, but
well, yeah,
like
he's injured all the time, right?
exactly, yeah, like as long as he's there in the postseason, that's kind of what Philadelphia is hoping for. He could play like 7 games all regular season, and if he's healthy and fresh and ready for playoff time, I think they would take that. But it is just such a like, there's no chemistry to this move. It's just like purely fueled for a championship, which I guess makes sense for his age. That should be the only thing you really.
But
I
is
don't
the
know.
Sixers the most apt? I feel like he'd be better off going to the
They're
Cavs.
fourth in their division, right?
Yeah, but
Sorry, I
isn't
didn't mean to cut that
Donovan
off.
Mitchell still in Cleveland?
Fourth,
Like,
yeah, the Cleveland would have had a good core. I think the 76ers, well, because they just got Jaylen Brown this offseason, which was their big splash play, and then they get LeBron for the 2-year $8 million. That's just, I think that's the craziest part about it is he's taking a like crazy pay cut. He's
yeah, I
making
don't know.
50 million last year.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't. Yeah, see, that's why I don't understand. I'm like, are the Sixers
He could
really
have did
that
that in
good?
Cleveland, and that would be a storybook ending championship or
Yeah,
not.
yeah. I don't
So
get it. I want to know because like when he went to the Lakers, that's when he was doing Taco Tuesday, and that's whenever he started doing more like fucking movies and stuff like the Looney Tunes 2 or Space Jam 2.
yeah,
Like he literally
yeah,
made
that
Space Jam
made
2 like
sense. Like
right after
outside
going
of
to the
basketball
Lakers.
to go there.
So what's the business move of going to Philly? Like
I don't
is he
know.
like becoming a chef and got his
I know there's a
killer cheesesteak idea that he wants to
Yeah, he needs to
let
open his
everyone
3
know?
restaurants.
He's switching from Taco Tuesday to Philly fucking
Philly
Fridays.
Fridays, yeah.
Yeah,
Philly Friday.
Philly Friday. Five Nights at Freddy's. But Jalen Brown came from the Celtics, though, right?
Yeah, he was the Finals MVP the year they won it all, like 2 or
Yeah,
maybe 3 years now.
because he's because it was Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now Jalen Brown's gone. So, and I know he played really well with the Celtics.
Yeah,
So I do like that core, but you got you have an aging LeBron who
Their
is doing all
starting
that
five
load.
is great. Like
Well, I don't really know the other two guys.
they have they have Embiid, they have Tyrese Maxey, and then VJ Edgecombe, who was one of the better rookies last year. And Tyrese Maxey is a great scorer, one of the fastest players in the league. Like it's
So are they,
it's a
younger?
great starting five. Yeah, they're a super young team.
Okay, I was gonna say you need to balance out that age
Outside of
and that
Embiid and LeBron,
injury prone. Yeah, LeBron. I just don't get it unless
I
because
think
everyone
they're just
wants to
buying
play with
into this next
LeBron.
year.
Well, you think he's gonna be there more than just a year? Or you think he's really gonna try and
I don't think so, but it was a 2-year contract with a player option in the middle, so I don't know what his the way he breaks it down. I don't know.
Because what are you saying, Brennan?
I actually think that I don't mind the move to Philly, to be honest, because I know Mason's kind of against it, obviously, but
I just think it's cheesy. This man's whole career is cheesy at this point.
I mean, it's cheesy for the ring chase. I think I'd prefer him to go to the Cavs. I actually thought he was gonna go to Golden State more.
That would be that would be way worse.
I would have
hated that.
I would have hated that.
I thought that was actually gonna be the move.
That'd be instant villain arc.
But
yeah,
I think the hometown move, not really hometown, but just for his career, to finish it off in Cleveland would have been great. But I mean, to finish it off with the ring's pretty good too, and I think the 76ers are probably the best bet to do that with, especially with the core that they have.
Yeah, I agree. I think they were definitely the closest to a championship out of the 5 teams.
But without Jaylen Brown, I don't think they are, though, right?
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
There's people I talked to. I forgot where. Oh, it was Sir Phil, who has been on this podcast before. We were hanging out with his friends this weekend, and they believe that the Pacers are the next team. They think they're going to go crazy because I mean they're already pretty well.
In the finals 2 years ago, yeah, 1 game away from winning.
But it makes sense that LeBron doesn't want to go to Indiana.
Yeah.
If you're going to go somewhere smelly, you might as well go to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right? He's larger than life. He's got to go somewhere huge.
I think that's kind of why. So the final 5 teams he was down to was Cleveland, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Golden State.
Weird.
Yeah. Minnesota, I thought would have been a decent shot at a championship, but not a big.
They just lost Cat.
Yeah, they lost him 2 years, and he just won a championship. So.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on in Minnesota. That's why I'm glad you're on here, Jeffrey, because I've been so despondent that the NBA is hard to watch before the playoffs for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But
not as bad as the WNBA. If you guys watched any of that,
the All-Star game.
Did you guys see the low
Dude,
lights?
that highlight, oh my god. That was so pathetic. That was probably one of the worst All-Star things I've ever seen in my life. And I think Mason made a great point of this is what kills women's sports is this lack of promotion or effort and care that the WNBA does. Because if you look at other female major sports, PWHL is the main thing that I'm all for because yes, hockey, but it's been we've already had very famous women in HL already who have translated it to the PWHL to promote it as much. The expansion with it too is crazy, and I'm just so disappointed that the WNBA is burying women's sports this bad.
Yeah, that's kind of where Sean's referencing. We saw that dumb low light video by that guy that's always screaming "Can you see this? It's a layup and he missed." I don't remember what that guy's name is. I'm sorry, but I'll try and link it if I make an edit on this. But it was so rough that it's to the point where I was I'm tired of people because we're not the guys that are laughing at women's sports. I don't have a problem with women's sports. I have a problem with WNBA. That's such a joke. I'll watch anything all day. I'll watch softball. I'll watch tennis. I'll watch soccer. I'll watch PWHL. I'll watch women's flag football. I watch it all. The WNBA is so freaking bad. I watch the pickleball too, and I'm a man of my word too. I've seen these live too and enjoy them. The WNBA is just, oh my gosh, what is going on there? Did you guys hear that Shaq said? I just heard this on the internet, so it might not be true. But Shaq said they should lower the rims for the girls. Did you guys ever hear this?
I think I've heard a couple people say that.
I mean, that could work too. Just make it more fair. I mean, like softball too. They have like smaller diamonds, I'm pretty sure, and like the bigger ball. Like, do whatever. Like, it's not
Yeah.
that to me. It's not disrespectful. It's elevating the game and giving you
Right.
more cred. So I don't know what the hell they got going on in the WNBA. I've never seen a larger disparity in like sports, co-ed sports, like whatever side you're on. The women's basketball is like the hardest to watch.
Besides Caitlin Clark.
Well, I think
Caitlin
Caitlin
Clark
Clark
got drained.
saved it for a while too, because
She
I
did.
remember
She
her
did.
being the
That's-
biggest
that's
thing
kinda-
2 or 3
I
years
thought-
ago.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was going to start going more on the up and up too, with like really good prospects out of college, like her, Paige Beckers, Juju Watkins supposed to be coming up soon.
And Sophie Cunningham's a baller too. She's from Mizzou.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you know that, Jeffrey? Yeah.
yeah. She's
She
good.
and then so with that, the Caitlin Clark was going to elevate the sport, and then all these girls for some reason have an ego, and didn't like her coming to the WNBA, and started like beating up on her and like wished the worst from her, and it's like, why do you guys have such a big ego when no one watches your fucking sport? And I'm
What's that?
hyperbolizing, but
What's that one girl's name that was like really against her?
Angel Reese.
Angel
Yeah,
Reese.
so
Oh my
that's what I was
god.
thinking of.
She is like this. She is a super villain. But the thing is, the thing about
plague
Angel
of the
Reese,
WNBA.
if I say shit on this podcast that pisses everyone off and everyone wants to slit my throat, like Angel Reese does that for the WNBA. So she is like the dark side of the WNBA. That's kind of like good because she's so fucking annoying and dumb and clippable.
Well, I mean, like
Like,
every sport
She's
needs
actually
a
really good
villain
at
too.
advertising the sport.
Yeah.
And I give her that. Like, she is good at like driving a narrative or whatever, or like causing drama, but she is no good.
Well, I think with Angel Reese too, like, I think the problem is she's not good. She's not a good player. Like, she's horrible.
Angel-
If she was
Yeah.
a villain and she was actually good at what she did, I think it would be a little bit more acceptable. And I think they could market it better, but they can't really market her that well because all she is just the personality. She doesn't have the game behind that personality at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The only thing she's
I
really
heard she
great
got
at is
0
getting
points in the
rebounds.
All-Star game.
Which I don't even care about the
she had
All-Star
0
game,
points in the
but-
game.
That's what I heard. Am I a liar?
You could
I
be.
don't know.
Well, I don't know. I just seen like a lot of lowlights with Angel Reese, a lot, and they're
Yeah.
bad. Like they are like, I mean, it's like high school level bad from what I've seen, and I think that's the problem with the WNBA overall is just they don't have the talent for it. But you watch college basketball, like even women's college basketball, and that's way more entertaining. Than,
Yeah, once you start getting to like the end of the tournament in women's college basketball, like it's great. Like it's fun to watch.
Yeah, but I don't know. So I don't understand what's the turnoff there, though.
I think it's just
Is it because
I think-
women's college basketball is more concentrated, so all the talent can be on fewer teams? And then whenever you go to the WNBA, there's too many teams and it's spread out and it's garbage? Like, what is it?
I don't know.
I think the WNBA's problem is just, I think it's trying. I think they've been better with this, but I think they tried so hard to be the NBA and tried so hard to replace it instead of embracing
That's
it.
crazy. Yeah.
Because I think,
Yeah.
I mean, it was never going to be the WNBA level. Like we talk about the Battlehawks all the time. Like I know it's not women's versus men, so it's a different conversation, but it's kind of the same premise of
Yeah.
it's a different league. They
Well,
need to
The
embrace
NBA
what they
pays
are.
for the WNBA.
Well, now they do, but back then they didn't, and it was that was their biggest like that was the biggest problem with them. And I think it's hard for these markets to really get involved in the WNBA because there's not many the markets that they're in. I don't even know all the teams that they have, but I think there's a pretty decent amount, and I don't think there's enough like fan engagement with those organizations that to really drive the promotion of that league. And again, they don't have the talent overall to fulfill it.
Yeah,
So I
that's-
guess- Go ahead. Sorry.
That's what
I
I'd
was-
say is the biggest issue with like college and professional women's basketball is just like the like difference in talents with some of the players is just like insane. Like they're
It's
especially even in college, like the first like round of the tournament is like practically unwatchable just because like you'll see some 60-point or higher wins in like a playoff setting.
Yeah, but the college is you kind of expect that though, because like there's games like in March Madness that can be like that.
Yeah,
Like maybe not that wide range, but there's still the appeal of it because it's college. You know, it's more amateur level. When it's becoming more professional, that's where it becomes a struggle. And I think basketball is like one of those sports where it's not like baseball or hockey or NFL or anything. It's a very like one person on your team can carry you. Like overall, like two to three players can propel you to be in a championship level team. All those other leagues, you need a whole team stacked with rosters. Like not one or two guys is going to save you. So I think with basketball having that kind of element to it, and there's not many like players in the WNBA. Like there's good players like in women's basketball, but they don't elevate themselves to be that, you know, like superstar like Caitlin Clark has done. So
they should have transgender basketball.
No. Anyways, let's ask this question first. What do you think would be
I
into...
have to bring it back. I think LeBron should join the Mystic.
Thank you, Mason.
That's his best chance at winning a championship. If you think about it. Yeah, he just changes gender and he joins one of the WNBA teams, and he'd be legendary. No one will forget it.
Jordan hasn't done it.
Yeah, Jordan didn't do that. He can be
What
above
a comment.
Jordan
That's funny. So, how about we transition to this?
Legiz James.
Which do you think would be in St. Louis first? A WNBA team, or now with the talk, an actual NBA team? What would be in St. Louis first?
Well, it's gonna be one or the other. I don't think they'll do both. I think realistically a WNBA would
That's
make
what I was
more
gonna
sense.
say.
That probably is more realistic.
But to kind of give you guys background, because I know some of you guys aren't familiar with what's going on with the NBA talk to St. Louis, is there was an article I tried searching before we got on the name of that guy from Portland who wrote this article, but there was they're trying to do renovations at the Portland Trail Blazers arena that are not going well. They've had multiple propositions and they failed multiple times. And how this connects to St. Louis is Chaffetz. What's his full name, Mason? Can't remember. The Chaffetz guy.
I don't remember.
Oh well.
Mr. Chaffetz himself.
Yeah, we literally call him Mr. Chaffetz whenever
Mr.
I'm at work.
All right, so Mr. Chaffetz, he now
Richard
is a
Dick.
Dick Chaffetz.
Dick Chaffetz.
That's a legendary name. But anyway, he
and then if you do his last name first, it's Chaffetz Dick.
Dick.
Whose dick we shaving?
But he's now the co-owner of the Trailblazers after they did their sale last year, and Chaffetz has talked about multiple times, like this has been articles written for years now, where he wants to bring professional basketball to St. Louis, and whether that be the WNBA or the NBA. And I think I might be wrong on this, but I remember seeing an article where he was trying to do a bid for a WNBA team to be in St. Louis, but it didn't end up going through with the WNBA, which resulted in him becoming co-owner of the NBA team in Portland. So now
he wanted to do an expansion?
He wanted to do an expansion of the WNBA, yeah, but I don't.
Oh, we're getting a little chop from Brennan.
Did I lose you guys?
I can hear you now. You're back.
Okay.
All right, quick talk.
But anyway, but now that he's the co-owner of the Trailblazers, now there's been speculation. There's been multiple articles from KMOV. Looks like this is David Amelodi that kind of broke down what it would look like and what how it compares to other markets. And I kind of wanted to go through it to see if you guys agree with it and what your guys' thoughts are overall. But before I get into that,
I want to hear stats before I get no emotion.
But just before we get into them, I wanted to hear from you guys what your reaction to what an NBA team in St. Louis would be like.
I'll let Jeffrey go
What would it
first.
be like?
Yeah, like how would you like it? Would you want it? And just things like that.
Jeffrey?
Sorry, I was the first thing I think of is if it would be the Trailblazers, like in Portland, Ja Morant just signed with the Trailblazers this offseason.
Oh,
he had all the controversy. Yeah,
he's a fucking.
I think it'd be funny that he goes from Memphis to Portland and then back to like St. Louis. Like, I think that'd be a funny storyline, but that'd be awesome though. I think a basketball team would be great here.
Do you think St. Louis would embrace it, or do you think we would get a situation where people show up because it's shiny and new? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, sorry. It was lagging a little bit. You're good now.
Would you think it'd be a situation though where it's shiny and new for the first 4 years, and then if there's any lack in quality, because we've seen that across all our sports so far, the new sports that come up, is that can we continuously have 95% capacity filled? And the NBA season's long.
I think maybe you could with a passionate owner, like it seems like this guy could be, and they're constantly advertising it, and hopefully the play is on that level. Then I think it definitely could be.
But do you think St. Louis is okay with them just being the Trailblazers? Like, do you think they would have to change up, like the design or the look or like the feel? I feel like you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You can stay a little bit to your roots, but I feel like St. Louis really wants their teams to feel like St. Louis. Yeah. I think we learned that from the Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see that not going over too well. And I don't think
go ahead.
I don't think a renovation for their would be bad at all. They don't really have anything stand out like jerseys or.
Yeah, I don't really think of anything from the Trailblazers besides their logo.
Really comes to mind.
Yeah. But again, I have not been paying attention to like regular season shit when it comes to NBA. Sean, what do you think about if an NBA team did come here, how would it look?
How would it look?
Yeah, not should it or should it not? How would it look if it did come here?
Profitable. The more I think about it, as a second location or second utilization of Enterprise Center, Enterprise Center is a blank slate enough for another team to just walk in.
I think it has to be Enterprise Center.
Yeah,
it would
to
be.
kind of they would be able to walk in and then change like half the stores that they do have, or like split up the like main merchandise stores to be both Blues and whatever that NBA team is. And it seems very logical to me. I can see it being accepted. I can see a lot of people wanting that, because you also have to think about people who are fans of SLU as well and wanting something bigger, or that bigger attraction probably to go and see. Yeah. So that's my thinking on it for like just off the cuff and whatnot.
What about the statues in front of Enterprise Center? How you split them up between the Trailblazers and the Blues?
You could put them on the other side if the Trailblazers just like get that generational talent, because that's kind of what they have at Staples Center. What's really weird about that is I'm pretty sure Staples Center is the one for the Warriors. Am I right or no?
I think Staples is the Lakers.
Yeah, Staples.
No, I think it's the Clippers, isn't it? The Lakers and the Kings. The Lakers and the Kings share a stadium. I know that.
Okay, if it is the Lakers, I'm pretty, because the Kings have statues outside of
I think it's the Clippers, right?
I thought the Lakers and Clippers shared, and the Clippers just built one, like a new place.
Well, that could be it. The Lakers and the Kings of hockey still share.
Well, now it's Crypto Arena. It's
Crypto Arena.
Yeah.
And let me see.
Is the
it's the Lakers and the Kings, and then the Sparks, the WNBA team, that all share that stadium.
And if LA is the example to go off that with the Kings and the Lakers, I think it's possible. I mean, they share banners too and whatnot, which is kind of funny whenever you look at it.
Yeah, I've been
So-
there firsthand. It seemed to work pretty well. But if I usually think if you share a stadium though, so the inside of the stadium's got to be generic enough, but also true enough to like the culture of the teams. But the outside's got to be big pimping
Yeah,
because if crypto, like, yeah, whatever it's called, crypto now. If crypto didn't have that cool section on the outside, like when I went there around Christmas, there was a giant Christmas tree and stuff. I feel like it would be too generic. They just blow up we'll just blow up Stiefel Theater.
Well,
and
doesn't
put, like,
Boston
a play pit
Bo-
from like McDonald's over there?
Boston shares a stadium, don't they? With
yeah, they also share that, and they have that
Celtics.
awesome statue. You know, I don't want to say awesome because of where it comes from, but the Bobby Orr statue and whatnot. That's outside of it and all that. So I don't know. I think it's overthinking it at the end of the day. You can share the glory as long as it's helping St. Louis get on the map. I think that's where my opinion stands at the end of the day.
Yeah. Brendan, what about you then?
I'm pretty much 100% with Sean. I don't think you need to build an arena at all, because you have Enterprise, and that article I have goes into a little bit more how that would work. But
We could put him at the Dome.
Empty.
Yeah.
no, but
Oh wait, how would the convention center of the Dome work? Do you think they can make space for that or like expand it even more down?
Like put in there?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be a nightmare.
well, I think
That'd be such a bad move.
I think the one thing that I'll say too is the fact that Enterprise Center exists and is capable of hosting an NBA team. It makes it even more profitable for St. Louis.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they don't have to build an arena. They don't have to do anything crazy. They literally just move right in one season, and they could start right away.
And I could say now that you brought that up, the Blues own that stadium, right?
They do.
It's not like a city stadium.
It's not no, it definitely is not a city stadium because that was a big deal of like, you know how Missouri is with like state tax of like we don't want to be paying for stadiums unless your name's the Chiefs, but that's a different story.
Yeah. So with going with that though, it's like not that the Blues would ever go anywhere unless it was like an apocalyptic situation, but you get a tenant to help you pay for your rent and stuff. Like the Blues could actually have a lot of money under their belt and really invest that into our hockey franchise too. Like that's probably the best thing. That would be the best thing about an NBA team coming.
Not just the fact that it's another professional sports league. That's what
no,
I
not.
think
I don't even think that's a big deal.
I think that's a massive deal.
No. St. Louis has like every freaking sport now. We're only like the 30 like biggest city.
I mean, yeah, but I guess Mason's the one avoiding this answer. So Mason, how do you feel so far?
And
by the way,
real quick, get an NBA team or
real quick, just to add on top of that, the NCAA does come. The NCAA basketball does go through Enterprise as well, so it's not something new to them.
So they could adapt it to basketball.
Yeah, they could very easily adapt. Oh, by the way, the owner is City of St. Louis.
Oh, it is. I thought it was Blue Zone.
Oh, St. Louis owns it.
Yeah, the operators are SLB Acquisitions Holding, which I think is basically Tom Stillman's like ownership group and whatnot, who's the owner of the Blues, but the city does own the arena.
I wonder if that happened when they did all the renovations.
I don't know, because I think it does go back all the way to like whenever they used to have the St. Louis Arena, which is where that was off of Kings Highway way back in the day and whatnot. I don't know if that's just the city coming out and being like, hey, if you destroy this old piece of shit Checker Dome, we'll give you a new one downtown.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look into the history of it, but.
So are you wanting if I want a basketball team or if we should have one?
I want to know if you want one. It should have. I want both.
I absolutely want a basketball team. That'd be sick. I saw the Kings play, like I said, in Lakers Stadium. When you realize how big, because I work at Chaffetz, and those stadiums, like, they're pretty cool, but the NBA stadiums are like, they're big stadiums, so they can fit a lot of people. Like, there's a lot of bad seats in there where you can barely see anything. But if you go to like a Pelicans game, you can see whatever. But So I think that's cool. The experience is fun. Basketball, it has for people that like to go to baseball games. I feel like they would enjoy basketball games too because you don't have to pay attention that much. The games are decided like at the end usually, and like there's a lot of people that'll just go to a baseball game and be on their phone and chat and enjoy the atmosphere or whatever and have the stadium experience and then also get a little bit of sports on the side. I think a lot of people would benefit from that at a basketball game. So casuals would come in, it would be really good. And St. Louis is a sports city. Everyone here that cares about sports like is going to adapt every sports team that we have come along, even if it's a sport they don't watch, and that could be what gets them into it. Should we have a basketball team? No.
That's wild of you.
We can't handle it.
we get too rowdy. What does that mean?
We literally can't handle it. We could not. Our city is not big enough, and I don't think there's enough love for basketball here.
No, I mean, I definitely think there is. Again, if you look at what like SLU's done, and even with like where Jeff's
but those
at,
games
Jeffrey's
don't sell
at,
out.
too.
And we just had a team that went far and it took it to Michigan and then fell apart at the end. And those didn't really have too many people showing up. And we had like
It's because it's
Kareem
not.
Abdul-Jabbar.
Are there not
Yeah, but
SLU
people
is
use people use the Battlehawks as a reason we should get a football team. It's the same difference. Like, and that's true if you show up like the whole time and like could fill out the stadium, then that's a good advocate.
Is SLU a NCAA team?
No.
No,
And that's why. There's just not. I don't think there's that.
So you
college
say
gets enough funding.
People only care about Major League Sports then?
They only care about the name brand at times, with the exception of, and here's what, like, this is where you and I will probably differ on it, is with the UFL being in St. Louis, that's because it's that's because it is fully funded by the fuel of resentment towards the NFL until an NFL team does decide to show up. Because
that is not fully fueled by not having an NFL team.
I think it's
no,
pretty
it is
much
not.
like 95% fueled.
That Kroenke shit is done. People cringe when people are like saying that now.
Until you and I go to a UFL game and I don't see those shitty shirts being sold, that
no, they're always gonna do that.
Because it's fueled.
We still cry about the Cardinals leaving.
The who? The
Arizona Cardinals,
the
yeah.
Arizona Cardinals.
I like how Brandon's like, what?
Well, I figured. Well, I've never heard about people being mad about the Cardinals leave. It's all about the Rams.
Oh, that was huge.
The Cardinals were that was years
I mean, it was the
ago.
same thing
decades
too.
ago.
That was huge.
It was huge
to
for
older
the time.
Yeah, because no one younger was old enough to witness it.
Yeah, we had the Rams for that. Duh.
Okay, to fight your point about how we can't handle it, I think
we can't even handle when the Blues, Battlehawks, and Cardinals play at the same time.
I don't know. Brendan and I handled it pretty well.
I think it can be handled because, like, NBA is one of those leagues that has so much star power. Like, there's not many leagues in sports that have the star power that NBA carries.
NBA, you mean basically what you mean is NBA players' branding is bigger
Yes.
than the NBA itself
Yes,
at times.
It is.
But that's like a counter argument though, is that if we don't have a big star, people aren't going to care as much.
We're going to though. We would. I mean,
So we would always have to. So what you're saying then is that we always have to have an owner that's heavily invested into making this the
If
best
Shafitz is
team.
involved in it, I don't see why he wouldn't be. I mean, he's a massive St. Louis sports, especially.
And his name is
basketball.
Dick.
Well, we'll also find out too to see how Portland does in the next.
That is
few
true.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be down years. I mean, NBA has a problem with its league overall with tanking and having super teams. But I think whenever St. Louis would have that shot what if we had an NBA team, I think it would be on par with some of the other franchises in the city with some of their best years. And also you're looking at another demographic of people where they don't they watch football and stuff, but baseball is kind of a certain niche sport at times with certain people. And then there's the whole MLS thing, which is all this cult following of people who like soccer. and some people who like soccer, but they hate MLS. You know, NBA is a lot more wide range accepted and like mainstream. I mean, look at ESPN. That's all they market on theirs.
Not in now
NBA.
wrestling.
Well, ESPN's a terrible platform.
Yeah.
And no
It
one
is
likes
a terrible platform, but you know, like there's a lot of casual fans. Like NBA is filled with a lot of casual fans, which brings in money, which would just in return allow St. Louis to grow even more. And talk about the things that we talked about on and off this podcast of how St. Louis can benefit from more tax dollars and like another team like of that size and that kind of league. It's massive for the city.
So
and
you think
the region.
you guys think that all of our teams would be well attended with
If they're
with
competing,
5
yes.
sports going on?
We had that with
Well,
the
see,
Rams,
but you
though.
can't have that because as soon as you stop competing, the team leaves.
We had it with the Rams. We've had NBA teams.
I mean,
Yeah,
here's
way
a,
long ago. No one cares about that. Like the
Here's a
Arizona
better
Cardinals.
Here's the better question with it. And Brendan might know this better, just historian-wise, with the Cardinals, is what were the Cardinals doing between 95 to 2005? What would you say the state of the Cardinals were at that point?
It was pretty bad. But like until 2004. And,
Right.
But then you had Mark McGuire come up, which was a superstar, but the team was bad.
And then in 95 to 05, during the first half of this decade that I'm like specifically trying to timestamp with it, the Blues had all their greats of the 90s. And then they go into the tanks afterwards, where after like I think it was 04 and then the lockout in 06 and whatnot, where they were shit, right? Or no, 05 where there was a lockdown or lockout. And in the midst of that, the Rams won a Super Bowl and then went to another one to see the start of Tom Brady's career, pretty much, right? So even with these ebbs and flows, the city still carries on and supports each sport in their own way. And
That's why the Rams are still here.
yeah. But here's a better example of this. MLS has only been in St. Louis for three years, right? 3 or 4 years. We're just now seeing
going down.
Well, we're just now seeing, at least in my point of view, and I don't know if you feel the same way, where I'm going to games, you're going to games now, because the white collar pricing of it is coming down, partially that being the issue. But even with City having that amazing first year and then that year or two in between where they're shit, and then now they're still in this playoff hunt, you and I aren't invested into it. Like, or at least everyone that we like, we're paying more attention to this because it is a competitive product. Regardless of those 2 years past, it still shows that it's going to be sustainable either way.
We've never had this many sports in one at one time, and I think one of them is going to falter.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, St. Louis is a sports city. People will find ways. If the team's winning, they will find ways.
If the teams are winning, people will find ways. But if they're not, if they're just like mediocre,
that's going to
people
happen.
stop showing
Though.
up.
It's bound and flows. I mean, look
Yeah, but
at
the city's
like
not
every
big
city.
enough. That city's not big enough, though.
All right.
To hold it.
If we're to look at another example, of this, look at Minnesota St. Paul. What the fuck has any Minnesota team done lately? They still have all their major sports, though.
How big is Minneapolis?
Well, Minneapolis and St. Paul is like the Twin Cities, so it's kind of more regional group and stuff.
So it's a lot.
At least 5. I know at least 5 people that are there. And a hockey team.
Okay, so Minneapolis, St. Paul, like those two major cities, concises of 3.69 million people. If we talk about the St. Louis region, like this is not just city, obviously, but like
Yeah,
the
so you're
region.
talking about St. Charles County, and St. Charles County.
No,
is not
I don't
We'll
know.
even keep it
This is just St. Louis. This is just St. Louis County.
All right.
That's all this counts for.
You're gonna say
2.8 million.
2.7. Yeah.
2.8 million. And that's not even
Okay.
including like Jefferson County, Franklin County, St. Charles County, Lincoln County. Like there's a lot around there of like people that could watch these teams. And again, like even if not every St. Louisan is going to watch every single team, that's not the point. But there's still like I think the one thing I want to get into with this article is what each region is versus like what some regions that have NBA teams versus St. Louis. So the ones they have listed here are Memphis, which is, and this goes with their amount of money that they make per year, and then what their population is. So with Memphis, they're 1.34 million, and then the NBA team revenue is 305 million. I think this is monthly. I don't know what this is.
And that's their only sport.
I actually don't know what I'm looking at.
I don't know what the values are because I feel like that's so low for a year.
I actually don't know these
The
numbers.
value doesn't even matter to me though because that's their only sport.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's the possible NBA revenue for the city. I see it now. Possible revenue for the city. So Memphis, 1.34 million, $305 million in revenue. Oklahoma City is 1.51 million, 357 million in revenue. And then Salt Lake City, 1.3 million and 348 million in revenue. So if you add a St. Louis team to that with 2.81, then you're looking at a significant increase in revenue for the city.
You just brought up a bunch of cities that have no other sports in them.
Yeah, but that's addition because that's how they measure.
It wouldn't just be an
revenue.
addition though; it would get taken away from some other sport.
I don't think so. I don't think it would get taken away.
I think so. I've seen it like years and years in the past, especially with the Battlehawks being here too. Everyone's always like, for anything, they're like, "Oh, there was a Cardinals game going on at this time, or there was a Blues game. I had to choose which one." So then, where was everyone else that wanted to show up that enjoyed football, or people that wanted to show up and see baseball? But then they wanted to go see hockey. Like there's not enough people going downtown.
Well, there won't be to be fair, there won't be a Blues and NBA team happening at the same time in St. Louis because they're going to share an arena.
That is true. That's a good point.
If they did that, though, because a lot of sports nowadays want you to like bend or take off your pants and let them hit you from the back.
What?
Which is another reason why I think that St. Louis might not get a stadium or get a team. These major sports leagues want the cities to front all the money, and St. Louis isn't going to do that anymore.
Well, Missouri's not doing that anymore.
Well, they're not. They don't need to front money because they have Enterprise.
If the Trailblazers are okay with going
now
to Enterprise,
now we have to get agreements. That's going to lead to my next point. So this is what's made it speed up, like actual talks about it, not just that's happened, but U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt said that the Blues would welcome a tenant at Enterprise Center, which was kind of random because he's not a part of the Blues, so it's kind of weird how he just came out and said that. And then,
well, I mean, he represents the city, and the city owns the arena, so.
Well, then they reached out to this KMOV article that I mentioned earlier. They reached out to the Blues, and the Blues said that they would accommodate and accept a second tenant, but they've not had any serious inquiries yet about it. But the Blues are willing to accommodate for it.
Don't want to come to St. Louis.
It just started. and then there was a there was an interview with Kara Spencer on 101 ESPN today, and she was saying how she had that when there's any if they ever had like any talks about that happening and like with what's going on in Portland, they will do their effort to try to drive them to come here because it's revenue for the city. So we have multiple politicians. Well, yeah, we have multiple politicians agreeing to it. We have the owner in Chaffetz, who's expressly said that he wants to bring basketball.
He just said he wants to. It doesn't mean he's going to. Stan Kroenke wanted to do that too, and he left.
Okay, but Stan Kroenke came in from the outside. This guy is built within.
Stan Kroenke's from
yeah, but
Missouri.
he wasn't like when he came into the ownership of the Rams, he wasn't a part of that franchise moving to St. Louis. He was a completely separate entity. And yes, he's from St. Louis, but he wanted the money, so it went to LA.
Oh yeah, I forget about that because I can't remember that the original.
It was that
owners
one
of the Rams
woman.
It was that one, yeah, the one woman who was like really adamant about it. Yeah.
But my thing with NBA, I think the one thing I'll say that I don't think will happen, why this won't happen is those other teams that I listed, where those are very close proximity to St. Louis, and there's not many franchises in other leagues that are like that close to St. Louis. Like even you have the Pacers, you have Memphis, you have Oklahoma City. Like those three teams are very close. Not to mention like Chicago as well. So you have like that competition. I don't know if the owners of those teams, like I'm sure if they were to do any sort of like expansion talk or any sort of relocation, those owners might not approve it because it's going to impact their revenue from those other franchises.
I just realized best case situation. So St. Louisans love the Chiefs. Kansas City can get a basketball team and we'll
I don't
support
want.
them.
No,
Right?
I don't want that.
Yeah,
I do
because they
not
don't have
want
one,
that.
and they just lost their football team. If Kansas City gets a basketball team, St. Louis will support them.
And then Kansas City will make us pay for it.
Missouri too. It's over Missouri's like.
It's not for St. Louis though. We're for St. Louis.
Tax.
We're behind the loop.
Hey, we're behind the loop. We're behind a fucking arch, not some shitty riverfront.
The arch has two sides. You can be behind either side of it.
What?
Yeah. So pick the right side to be on.
The right side's on the east. We're on the left.
We're left. No, I do not want that.
West.
Jeff, you want
That'd
Kansas
be
City?
that would be worst case scenario if like I think if an expansion team goes to Kansas City, I think that's worse for St. Louis because if any franchise is gonna pick a state in Missouri, I would want it to 100% always be St. Louis. Like that.
Would you rather have an NBA team or an NFL team?
NFL.
Why not both?
But I'll take
I
both.
would 100% take an NBA team over an NFL team.
How about both?
No,
you
I
can
would
have
still-
both.
There you
guys.
go. See, you're gonna make so much more money in the NFL.
I would still prefer an NFL team, but if it's like if it's more likely I have to wait like 40 years for an NFL team, or I could get an
we're not getting a
NBA
team
team
until Super Bowl 100.
or an NBA team in like the next like 3 years, I would much rather pick the NBA team.
I think
Much,
there's a
much
better
rather.
chance we
I
get
think
an
I'd
NBA
agree.
team than NFL again.
Oh yeah, that's 100%. Not to mention the history of NBA in St. Louis. It's pretty rich. I didn't realize how rich it was. St. Louis actually had two different NBA franchises between 1946 and 1968. They had the St. Louis Bombers and then the Hawks.
I thought they had the Spirits too, or something like that.
Oh yeah, we have.
I
a
think
championship.
the Spirits were a team that they were going to expand. I believe. I think it was an expansion team idea.
We've had a couple basketball teams. I'm pretty sure come through here.
Now, I do wish the Utah Jazz were willing to relocate. Could you imagine having the Blues and the Jazz at
That'd be
Enterprise?
Oh, St. Louis isn't cool
That'd
enough
be
anyway
awesome.
because whenever we got our soccer team, I was one of the people that was yelling that it should be the St. Louis Rhythm, and they would not do it. They're like, no, it's going to be all for City. I'm like, okay. We don't want to ride off of the Blues coattail. I'm like, okay.
Rhythm would be kind of cool though.
It's Rhythm and Blues, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And it's at Enterprise. We renamed the Trailblazers. We can do this.
Yeah. I'll take back everything I say if the Trailblazers come as the Rhythm.
Now
So
that
you're
was
all
sick.
for the St. Louis Rhythm?
Yeah.
I'm all for a basketball team. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I like
You know what's
Jeffrey
not
like
really
slowly calling it out too. He's like, so.
No, I think I really think that do I think it's actually going to happen? I would say no. I don't think it's going to happen. I think some way somehow Portland's going to do that, and I think with the ownerships of the different franchises being like having so many in such close proximity to St. Louis, hinders it as well. And then I think if the NBA is going to have a team relocate, they would rather have a team be put in like Vegas or
Well, yeah, I
like
think the NBA is
That's-
already
and stuff.
That's
It's already
another reason
set
I was going to
for-
get to is there's more money in other cities. What?
I was going to say the NBA I think is already set to within the next 2 or 3 years expand back to Seattle and Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Vegas is like a
Which-
must in every sport right now.
Yeah,
No,
I
they're
think the UFL even tried to do it and it did not work.
Now the thing is like, I think with like those cities though, if St. Louis is going to get a team, it's going to be relocation. It's not going to be an expansion team.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to
Yeah.
put the money, and St. Louis is not going to
For
put
sure.
up the money for that. So, because they have to find an owner and everything, and that's a whole.
I'll
ordeal.
buy it. I'm on it, guys.
But no, I think
So
like I said,
LeBron is going to go play for the St. Louis
St. Louis
NBA
Rhythm.
expansion
Ring chasing.
Rhythm
Ring
basketball
chasing
team.
with the St. Louis Rhythm.
Yeah. If LeBron came to St. Louis, then we could do it until he retired. And then everyone would stop showing up because then LeBron would leave.
And then he'll retire and then become the owner of that team and then fund it that way.
So real
LeBron
quick,
would retire faster than his hairline if that happened.
I want to go through like each of you guys and think of if you guys believe it will happen or not. So we'll start with Jeffrey.
Yeah, probably not. If I had to put my money on it.
Do you think it would happen in Kansas City before St. Louis?
No. Honestly, yeah, no. Because I do agree with that. There are a bunch of other markets in the NBA right now that are super in proximity to St. Louis and the NBA.
But we're better, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, Mexico doesn't even have a team yet.
But also, I think I kind of disagree with that there are too many teams here that should be a main reason we shouldn't, because I don't think you add an NBA team, they're not going to be like the lowest revenue out of all 5 teams.
I'm not talking about revenue. I'm just talking about attendance.
Oh, yeah.
I think attendance is definitely going to create for the teams around.